Kids, let me tell you, getting into college is tough. It's a nerve-wracking process filled with endless forms, essays, and interviews. The pressure to stand out is immense, and it can feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Even when you're a demigod who saved the world a bunch of times. You'd think that battling monsters and going on epic quests would be enough to impress any admissions committee, right? Well, not quite. Percy here was trying to get into New Rome University, the finest school for heroes in training. This wasn't just any university, it was the pinnacle of academic and heroic excellence, a place where the best of the best hone their skills. But there was a catch, a big one. Getting in wasn't just about grades or heroic deeds. No, they needed something more, something extraordinary. They needed recommendation letters from the gods. Yes, you heard that right. Letters from the divine beings who ruled the cosmos. Talk about setting the bar high. Yeah, you heard that right. Percy had to impress the likes of Zeus, Poseidon, even the grumpy god of the forge. Imagine trying to get a glowing recommendation from someone who can summon lightning or control the seas. But the real challenge? That was Hecate, the goddess of magic, crossroads, and all things spooky. She was known for her mysterious ways and unpredictable nature. Percy owed her big time for helping out in the Titan War. Her magic had turned the tide in many battles, and he knew he couldn't just ignore her request. So when her letter arrived, requesting a small favor, he couldn't refuse. It wasn't just a letter. It was a magical summons, glowing with an eerie light. Little did he know this favor would turn into a full-blown Halloween nightmare. The task seemed simple at first, but it quickly spiraled into something far more sinister. He should have known better than to trust a goddess known for her tricks, especially during Halloween week. The air was thick with magic and mischief, and Percy was about to find out just how tricky things could get. Hecate's request seemed simple enough, on the surface. She needed someone to watch over her beloved pets while she was away on, you guessed it, Halloween business. Easy peasy, right? Not so fast. We're talking about the pets of the goddess of magic. First, there was Hecuba, a gigantic black mastiff with eyes that glowed like fiery embers. This wasn't your friendly neighborhood Labrador. This dog could probably swallow Cerberus whole. And if that wasn't enough, there was Gale, a tiny fluffy polecat. Sounds cute, right? Wrong. This little guy had a tendency to shoot poisonous quills when agitated. And trust me, everything agitated him. Hecate's mansion was like something out of a spooky movie marathon. It was all twisting corridors and shadowy corners. Cobwebs hung like Halloween decorations and strange whispers seemed to follow them from room to room.
Size. Even in a haunted mansion, cleanliness matters.
Annabeth, ever the brave one, started dusting off bookshelves. Percy was busy trying not to trip over his own feet.
Sniffles. I'm trying my best not to sneeze on these ancient and possibly cursed artifacts.
Hecate had given them one rule and one rule only. Don't touch anything. Seems simple, right? But when has anything ever been simple with these three? It all went downhill as it usually does because of curiosity and a little bit of clumsiness. See, while exploring, more like snooping, Grover stumbled upon a hidden room. Inside he found a glowing potion, shimmering under a lone flickering candle. Now, Grover being Grover couldn't resist the allure of the unknown. He told himself it was probably just some magical juice.
Nervously, just a little sip won't hurt, right?
Big mistake. Huge. He took a gulp, ignoring the tingling sensation that shot down his throat. His stomach rumbled, his vision blurred. Then with a flash of green light and a loud poof, Grover wasn't Grover anymore. He had transformed into a giant, hairy, and very confused goat. I'm talking bigger than the Minotaur with horns that could rival Ares' chariot.
Remember Hecuba, the hellhound?
Well, she wasn't too fond of goats, especially giant, panicking ones. Hecuba started barking, a sound like thunder echoing through the mansion. Gale, true to her nature, started shooting quills everywhere. It was chaos, pure and simple.
Percy, watch out!
Percy, trying to calm everyone down, tripped over a cauldron. Green smoke filled the room. Annabeth, dodging a flying quill, accidentally knocked over a shelf full of potion bottles.
Oh no, not the potions.
The mansion, already creepy, was now a whirlwind of magical mishaps. Furniture was overturned, curtains were ripped, and let's not even talk about the state of Hecate's prized collection of crystal balls. With the mansion quickly resembling a disaster zone, Hecuba and Gale decided to make a run for it. They bolted out of the mansion and into the night.
Hecuba, Gale, get back here!
Hecuba, a black blur against the darkened streets, and Gale, a tiny furry missile, were gone. Panic set in. They had one job.
Now we have a giant goat man, a destroyed mansion, and two mythical creatures on the loose in the city.
Time was ticking. They knew Hecate would be back soon, and let's just say, she wasn't known for her forgiving nature. Luckily, Percy, Annabeth, and even a giant goat Grover weren't exactly new to chaotic situations. They had faced countless challenges before, from battling mythical monsters to navigating the treacherous waters of the underworld. This time, their mission was to find two mischievous creatures causing havoc in the city. The stakes were high, but so was their determination. They had a city to scour, and two mischievous creatures to find. The city was bustling with activity, making their task even more daunting. Every corner, every alleyway, and every hidden nook could be a potential hiding spot. The friends knew they had to be thorough and strategic in their search. They split up, each using their unique skills to track down the runaways. Percy, with his affinity for water, would take the waterfront. Annabeth, with her sharp intellect and strategic mind, would handle the sewers. Grover, despite his tendency to attract attention, would try to stay out of sight and gather information from a distance.
Percy, you take the waterfront. The docks and riversides were familiar territory for Percy. He could sense the slightest disturbances in the water, making it easier for him to track any unusual activity. He hoped to find some clues that would lead them to the mischievous creatures. Annabeth, you handle the sewers. Armed with a detailed map of the city's underground network, Annabeth was ready to navigate the dark and smelly tunnels. She knew that the creatures would be drawn to the most hidden and least pleasant places, and she was determined to find them. I'll try not to cause more trouble. Grover, despite his awkwardness, had a knack for sensing danger and finding hidden paths. He would use his abilities to stay out of sight and gather any useful information without drawing too much attention to himself.
Percy, with his control over water, followed the faintest traces of Hecuba's drool. He could sense the subtle changes in the water's flow, leading him closer to their target. Every ripple and wave told a story, and Percy was determined to read it correctly. Annabeth, using her wits and a map of the city's sewer system, figured out Gale would be drawn to the smelliest places in town. She carefully navigated the labyrinth of tunnels, using her keen sense of direction and problem-solving skills to stay on the right path.
Grover, just stay out of sight, okay? Grover nodded, understanding the importance of his role. He knew that his presence could easily attract unwanted attention, so he focused on blending in and using his natural abilities to gather information discreetly.
As for Grover, well, he attracted enough attention as a giant goat to make the local news. His unique appearance and the chaos he inadvertently caused made him a topic of interest for many. News reporters and bystanders were quick to notice and report any sightings of the unusual creature. People were calling in sightings left and right. The city was abuzz with reports of strange occurrences and unusual sightings. Every phone call and every tip brought them one step closer to finding the mischievous creatures. It was a disaster, but hey, at least they were getting leads. The chaos and confusion worked in their favor, providing them with valuable information and clues. Despite the challenges, they remained hopeful and determined to succeed. They even got a little help from some old friends. The support and assistance from their allies gave them a much-needed boost. Together, they formed a strong and united front, ready to tackle any obstacles in their way. The Stoll brothers, Travis and Connor, owed them a favor. Known for their cunning and resourcefulness, the Stoll brothers were the perfect allies for this mission. Their expertise in all things mischievous and slightly illegal made them invaluable assets. They used their expertise in all things mischievous and slightly illegal to spread the word. With their help, the friends were able to cover more ground and gather more information, bringing them closer to their goal. It took all night, but they finally found Hecuba and Gale. The search was exhausting, and the group had to navigate through dark alleys, overgrown parks, and even a few abandoned buildings. They were determined, though, driven by the need to set things right and bring their friends back safely. Hecuba was cornering a hot dog vendor. Apparently even hellhounds have a weakness for street food. The vendor, a bit shaken but mostly amused, was trying to fend her off with a spatula. It was a sight to behold, and the group couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all. Gale, covered in who knows what from the sewers, was perched on top of a statue, looking very pleased with herself. She had clearly been on quite the adventure, and her mischievous grin suggested she had no regrets about it. The statue, now adorned with sewer grime, seemed to wear Gale's escapades like a badge of honor.
Woo, we did it. The sense of relief was palpable. They had managed to find their friends and bring them back despite the odds. The high fives and cheers were well-deserved, a testament to their teamwork and perseverance.
With a little more magic and a lot of apologies, They reversed Grover's transformation, cleaned up the mansion, mostly, and returned Hecuba and Gale just in time. The mansion, once a scene of chaos, was now almost back to its former glory. Apologies were exchanged and laughter filled the air as they recounted the night's events. Hecate thankfully found the entire situation rather amusing. She appreciated the group's efforts and their ability to find humor in the chaos. Her laughter was infectious, and it lightened the mood considerably. She even gave Percy a glowing recommendation for New Rome University, mentioning his unconventional problem-solving skills and unique ability to attract chaos. It was a surprising but welcome gesture, and Percy couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. His friends teased him about it, but they were genuinely happy for him. It was a Halloween week none of them would ever forget. The costumes, the adventures, the mishaps, it all blended into a whirlwind of memories that they would cherish forever. They had faced challenges and come out stronger, their bond even more unbreakable. A reminder that even demigods make mistakes, and sometimes the best-laid plans go hilariously, disastrously wrong. But those moments of failure and chaos often lead to the best stories and the strongest friendships. They learned to laugh at their mistakes and appreciate the journey, no matter how bumpy it was. But hey, that's what friends are for, right? To support each other through thick and thin, to share in the laughter and the tears, and to create memories that last a lifetime. Their friendship was their greatest strength, and they knew they could face anything as long as they had each other. Especially when your friends are a satyr, a daughter of Athena, and a guy who can control water. Each brought something unique to the table, and together, they were an unstoppable force. Their adventures were far from over, and they looked forward to whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing they would face them together.